Hey folks, it's Jim, it's Julie. I'm back after my 30 or so hour nap after Anime North.
You make it sound like that's a bad thing that you needed a nice long nap.
Well, usually with 70 plus hours of no sleep, you will need a nap.
Rookie.
Yeah, well, I'm getting old, so anyway, welcome back to the show. We've got 8 comic book reviews for you today, so let's start off with the Green Team, shall we?
Or let's start off with Clive Barker's Next Testament.
Okay, fine then.
So this is number 1 of 12.
Green Team comes later.
Yes, we'll get there.
Yes.
Jim was just a little too excited. It's okay, though.
Yeah.
So.
Your pile was not in order.
No, it wasn't. I did that just to, mess with you. Make sure you were on top of your game after your vacation last week.
I see. So you're messing with me. Okay, got it.
Anyway, before we get into this, Julian Dermond is plagued by dreams and people telling him he's crazy. Thankfully, though...
He's me.
Thankfully, Julian Dermond is rich, and thus enabling him to search and follow his dreams.
Lucky bastard.
Maybe lucky. But who is this being named Wick at the dream source, and why does Julian's son Tristan seem so concerned that his father is in grave danger? I really enjoyed this book.
It was a lot of fun.
I think one of the best ways that I can describe it is irreverent, maybe?
Some of the lines, yeah, very much irreverent.
There are aspects of it that are irreverent, so if you have particularly strong religious leanings, I would definitely give it a flip through before taking it home. But it's a really, really, really interesting premise. I really enjoyed all of the book. The art style isn't typically something I really like, but it's still something that I was able to enjoy. So, I think that you guys should give Clive Barker's Next Testament a chance.
Alright, next up, we have one of my favorite online comics. It's School Bites, Independent Studies by my buddy Holly G, who was talking to me this morning and saying, please don't hate my comic. Don't worry, Holly, I don't hate School Bites. I love it to death.
Holly, I do agree with you. School does bites.
Yes, it does. Alright, and in this volume, Christopher reunites with Cherry and is welcomed into the Shadow Academy. Well, we also learn how Annie became so sad and just who Cleopatra's parents are, as well as a couple extras that you won't get on the online comic. So, was this book a lot of fun? Yes, of course it was. Holly's irreverent style is a lot of fun to see it evolve over time, and it's just filled with such fun characters, as well as a dark plot that's just lying on the underbelly.
This book actually recaps, I think it leaves off where I left off reading.
Yeah, Holly took a bit of a break on doing the comic, because, trust me, as a webcomic artist myself, we all need breaks sometimes. So this book left off is where basically the webcomic has left off, and she's going to continue that a little later on down the road once she gets finished with some other projects, because, again, we do need some time to do other projects now and then. But this was a lot of fun. If you're a fan of the School Bites webcomic, do yourself a favor, help pay to keep School Bites going, help keep Small Press going, and pick up School Bites, because it's a lot of fun.
Alright. Next up for me is Adventures of Superman number 1. And this is a reprint of Digital First Comics that I've been really excited for a couple of months. I mentioned this book probably 2.5 months ago.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, somewhere in the late winter. Because I saw online...
Late winter? There's still snow outside and it's 30 degrees.
I saw that Orson Scott Card was supposed to be writing the first story in the book. Now...
Yep. And then the internet attacked.
Yes. So, unfortunately, we do not get a Superman story from Orson Scott Card, and I'm really quite sad about it.
Not to say anything bad about his writing or anything, because he's a very good writer, but him as a person, on the other hand, which we were not going to go into.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
We're leaving it alone. DC and Orson Scott Card are still both on very good terms, I was reading. Their relationship hasn't been hampered at all, so we'll hopefully get more Ender's Game comics. Crossing fingers.
That's Marvel, so...
Really?
Yep, that's Marvel.
Huh. I definitely thought that I saw a DC on those when I checked today.
No.
Well, hopefully we get DC Ender's Game comics. That's what I'm going to hope for now. Anyways,
So we're gonna have Marvel versus DC with Ender's Game comics?
Yes. And we're not going to go into which side is the Formex. For Adventures of Superman, we get 3 short stories. And in the very first one, somebody has given Leon, a homeless man, drugs, granting him telekinesis powered by his rage, and it's up to Superman to stop him. The second one, written and drawn by Jeff Lemire, is probably my favorite. It features 2 young boys who go to a cabin or a shack in the woods and are playing pretend and pretending that they're Superman, and they fight over who gets to be Superman and run through a myriad of Superman's villains, including Bizarro, Lex Luthor, Brainiac. And it's just really cute and touching and heartwarming and perfectly placed in this book, I felt.
And there's Bizarro logic in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
which, who doesn't love Bizarro logic?
Yep.
And in 3, no matter what, Superman is determined today to make this Bizarro's worst day.
Again, more Bizarro logic.
It's really cute. I enjoyed all of these shorts, especially the two last ones. So I think that you guys should pick this up, even though Orson Scott Card's not with it.
Alright, next up, we have a seminal event. It's Gold Digger number 200, though technically it's 204. Or 205.
No, it's number 200 of the ongoing.
Well, I'm not going to go into the specifics, alright? But anyway, this is a perfect introduction for new readers, as we're introduced to pretty much the entire cast in this book.
Wow.
So, Gina heads off on a dangerous expedition to a lost temple, and she'll need everyone's help to learn the secrets within the deadly trap-filled temple.
Okay.
And that's basically the plot for this one. So basically they all go to a gigantic trap-filled temple and have to find out just what this temple's really holding as its secret.
It's Doom!
No. Alright, so this is a pretty good starting off point for anyone who's not read Gold Digger for the last 20 plus years. Plus, if you pick up this comic, you can follow a link inside to read the first 199 issues of Gold Digger for free. Now, I have a tiny problem with this. As someone who's supported Fred for 20 plus years on Gold Digger, yeah, this does not make me too happy. Now, I would not be against people being able to read Gold Digger, but what about us that have paid for this book for the last 20 plus years? As much as I like seeing a book that can grab new readers into it, you're giving away what we worked so hard to give to you as well as a creator with our hard-earned money every month for 199 issues. Now, don't get me wrong, I love you, Fred, I love you to death if you're watching, and I know you probably are, but I think this was not a great idea to put up the first 199 issues.
I thought when I heard about it that they were just posting them for anybody to read.
Yeah.
Now that I know that it's a specific link, is it a code that you have to redeem as well?
No, it's a specific link.
Oh.
So it's really easy to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not going to be difficult at all to find.
No, and they're just all generally PDFs, so you can just literally download them to your hard drive and whatever, but I am not a big fan of that, and it kind of hurts the book in a way. Because now people won't want to try and collect the back issues or try and find them. And I mean, some of those back issues are really hard to find. Some of them are worth hundreds of dollars now. But honestly, it's really killing me because I love you dearly, Fred, but I don't like the idea of giving away something for free that we as fans have spent so much time and money on. And I know some will disagree and some will agree, but for me it's just almost a killing point. Now, I'll still continue to buy the book. I'll still continue to support Fred and AP as well. But I just don't like the idea of giving something that has taken so long to get to away for free. But I'll get off my soapbox now and we'll continue with the show.
Alright. Next up is X-Men 1 from Marvel Now. And this is a first for the X-Men as far as I know. It is an all-female team.
So shouldn't it be X-Women?
It should be, or X-People.
Or
X-Persons?
X-Persons? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's also got an X-Baby in it.
Yes. Yep. So, in this one, Jubilee is coming home and bringing a parcel with her. A young baby orphaned in a terrorist bombing in Europe. But in Bulgaria, she gets the sense that she's being followed, and no matter how she tries, she just can't shake it. That is as much as I'm giving you, because there's a fair amount that happens in this book, and I don't want to leave any accidental spoilers. I
think there's a Ghostbusters 2 reference in there.
I think so, in one of the very, very first panels.
Yeah, like I'm with Vigo or something. Which I'm like,
Welcome to Earth, Vigo?
Yeah, welcome to Earth, Vigo,
Yeah, Jubilee's got a patch stitched onto her backpack. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I like that a lot.
Kind of funny, but...
anyways, this book moves quickly enough that I didn't want to give too much away, especially for number 1. The art is okay.
It actually kind of reminded me of old school Chris Bachalo from the days of Generation X and everything. Stylistically, anyway.
I will take your word on that. For me, it's not anything that jumps out at me, but it also isn't offensive. It's just sort of run-of-the-mill. It's perfectly acceptable. It doesn't hurt or help the book. And I think that you guys should give this a chance, because, you know, lady power.
Alright, speaking of lady power, we have Steampunk Snow White. And in this one, well, the Queen sends her armies of steam-powered juggernauts to conquer the peasants. Her daughter, Princess White, must, with the help of the raider Lone Fox, fight together to save the commoners.
Oh.
Alright, so this is, of course, by Rod Espinosa, my pal. I love this stuff. Great art, great story, as always. With Rod, it just seems he's always so adept at writing strong female characters. And I really like that about him. And this is no exception to that rule. This is a really strong female character who kicks butt. And it's a lot of fun to read. Now it's going to change a lot of what you know about Snow White. Because there are no dwarves. They're badgers.
and mushrooms?
Nope.
And snakes?
Nope.
Oh.
No. But we can sing that later.
Okay.
The prince character is basically a thief that the queen is trying to dispatch and kill. And, of course, there's going to be a love story, because, well, it's Snow White.
Exactly.
So, I have a lot of fun with this. At some panels it looked like Rod was a bit rushed, but I can understand, because he's so busy with other things. But I still had a lot of fun with this book. And if you're looking for a really fun steampunk-style book, this is probably going to be for you. And I can't highly recommend it enough, but I will say there are some points where it drags just a tad, but it's still a lot of fun. So if you're a fan of steampunk and you want to see just a really strong female character, check this one out. I had a lot of fun with it. Though I don't know what Julie thinks about it.
I haven't read it. Maybe I'll read it this week, and I'll chime in with a few thoughts next week.
Okay.
Alright, last up for me today is The Green Team, number 1. This book introduces us to Muhammad, a young teenage prince who...
They're always named Muhammad when they're a prince, aren't they?
Yes. Yes, they are. Who is...
Hello, I'm Prince Muhammad, and I would like to send you $5 million if you send me your...
Firstborn child?
Yes. And or your credit card information.
Credit card information it is. So, in this, Muhammad has come to North America without his father, the king's, approval, so that he can talk...
He's a rebel, and he knows he's doing bad.
So that he can hopefully get an in with Commander and the people of the Green Team. This was an interesting read. That's how I'll say it. It's not really my sort of a story. I don't particularly... I'm not sure what direction this is going to go in.
That is a difficult idea, yeah.
You have 5 teenagers who all have more money than brains, and trust me, none of them lack in the brains department. And you end up with some ridiculous things. I think you guys should check it out because it's kind of neat. And
artwork kind of reminds me a little bit of Amanda Connor, and she did the cover, so...
I liked the art. It made me feel like I was watching a movie.
It was very kinetic.
Yes.
And fast-paced, yeah. It did work, yeah.
I enjoyed a lot of the core elements of the book. Even if the story wasn't really what I was into, there were aspects of the sheer mechanics that I really, really enjoyed. From page layout to how they established word bubbles and speech bubbles, and I think that you guys should give this a chance because if the mechanics are this good, the story is sure to follow.
Alright, and last up this week, we have the Oddity of the Week in Occupy Comics number 1. Yes, people, I have to read this type of stuff. Alright, so this one, which features several non-partisan stories and articles by such creators as Alan Moore, Charlie Adler, Art Spiegelman, Ben Templesmith, J.M. DeMatteis, and more. I'm not going to go into the politics of the Occupy movement because then we'd be here for hours, and we don't have that kind of time.
No.
Let's go into what we see in the creative aspect of this book.
Okay.
Alright? I like what I see in the creative aspect of this book.
I took a run through, and there are aspects that are really cool, and there
are aspects that don't work at all. Alan Moore's article in here is very interesting to read. I will say that. There are some very nice pinups by Charlie Adler and Art Spiegelman.
What is Alan Moore talking about in his article?
Basically how the history of comics can intertwine with the Occupy movement and stuff like that. Okay. So it's an interesting article. I would suggest, even if you want, if you're a fan of Alan Moore, to check this out just for that, if anything. There's some really interesting stories as well. As I said, they're mostly non-partisan, so there's that. But yeah, where this book does shine is definitely the art. And with the amount of artists that they have working on this book, it really does shine. I can't say too much about the actual Occupy movement because, like I said, we'd be here for hours. But I did enjoy reading this book. I can't highly recommend it because it's going to, of course, tick some people off. Again, politics, not going to go into it. But I did enjoy what I saw, and I did enjoy what I read. And anything that can help educate as well as entertain is okay by me. So check this one out if you're looking for something very, very different. Because this one is definitely on that list of being very different. And the weird thing is about this Black Mask company, they seem to be doing a lot of this stuff. The book that's on the back cover here, called Liberator, 30% of the profits from that are going to be donated to animal rescue efforts.
Well, that's fantastic.
Just as all profits from this book are going to the Occupy-related stuff. So it's always good to back that kind of stuff, but it's going to be interesting to see where they can go creatively with these things. Like I said, I'm not going to go into the politics because we'd be here for hours, but this is a very interesting and very educational book that people should probably check out, if only to see the different artists and different styles represented. Alright, so that brings us to the close of another exciting episode. If we're not shut down by the government, we'll be back next week. We will see you later.